Hi, everyone. Welcome. So glad you're here to hear all about the doTERRA difference and why I've been part of doTERRA, the company, for over 15 years. And I need to count how long it has been. It's been a long time. I came in when they were only 5 years old. And I don't know how long they've been in business now. And then I would just have to subtract five. But anyway, over 15 years, I know that. Still love them, still appreciate their products, and can't ever understand why other people don't appreciate them as much as I do. So, we're going to dig into a little bit about the mission, the philosophy, the heart behind doTERRA, not necessarily the products today. So, let me go ahead and grab my, you know, my my visuals, I shall call them. I'm Teresa Lysam. Thank you to everybody who's here. Thank you, Nora Lee, for being here. And thank you to everybody who's watching the recording. So give me a thumbs up if you could see the doTERRA difference. Welcome. And I will try present mode. We'll see if it works today. So it gives you a little bit bigger view of everything. So why is doTERRA different? It seems like there's so many essential oils out on the market nowadays. Everybody seems to have jumped on the bandwagon because, in my opinion, doTERRA has created the market for essential oils. It's starting to be more commonplace, and I totally attribute it to doTERRA leading the way. But with that being said, we'll find out a couple of things. This is a quote from someone within doTERRA. I really liked it. Everything we do is designed to empower someone. And I totally agree with this. Everything they do along the pipeline, from the plants, the harvesters, the distillers, all the way up to where we who love the bottles and the products open the bottles, there's an empowerment piece all along the way. So I really think this says a lot about doTERRA, the company. So I found this. It was started in 2008, and it was all about they had a mission to share the essential oils with the world, the best, the highest quality essential oils. There was, oh my gosh, how many founders? I think there was three just to get the ball rolling, and then they brought in other founders in 2008, which was kind of like a downtime in the economy. So they were really taking a risk. I know, from my understanding, they all invested a lot of their own personal monies to really get the ball rolling. That's how much they were invested in their mission and how much they believed in what they could do, which I think really speaks volumes from that beginning point, even as to their integrity. But doTERRA does mean the gift of the earth. I really, really love that. Essential oils are the gift of the earth. And this is a little bit how many oils they started with. But it did take them a while to find very pure oils. That was their goal, to find the purest oils they could find on the planet, which took a little bit of time. So doTERRA has something called co-impact sourcing. We're going to get into. We're going to touch a little bit upon their testing, and then their Healing Hands Foundation, which is their philanthropic arm. And I love everything about each one of these, and we're going to try to tease them apart just a little bit. So I'm not going to get too much into them right here. Co-impact sourcing is all about the partnership with the farmers at the source, where we get the oils from, and how we collaborate and partner with them. We don't just go in and dictate what we want. So doTERRA is committed to sourcing the best and helping the most. And you'll hear those concepts come up in the course of this little bit of time we have together. So, and very responsibly, very ethically, very sustainably. From my understanding, they will not even bring an oil to the market until they know it is sustainable and they can create enough quantities for their customers. So I've heard stories in the past where a certain particular oil, they found where to source it. They knew what they wanted to do with it, but it wasn't being produced in the quantities they need. So they just held it back from public view until they got to that point. So to me, again, that speaks volumes to what type of a company they are. So, what is the difference between doTERRA and maybe some other essential oil company out there? They were never funded by any outside investors. That's why I said at the beginning point, they all put in their own money. They all made the commitment and took the risk together by opening up their own pocketbooks to fund their starting point, which I thought was so cool. They did have the opportunity to bring in investors, outside investors, and they turned them down, which again is I think is really a special thing that they did. Over 120 markets now open and growing. It is now the largest essential oil company in the world. Their oils are used by doctors and clinicians and hospitals all over the world. Ethically and sustainably sourced. I already talked about working with the farmers. Their compensation plan is the best in the whole direct marketing world. Their retention rate is huge compared to other direct marketing companies, from my understanding. 65%. I've even heard it higher than that at one point, but it's been consistently in the 60s, which is huge. Most tested, most trusted, and they're very transparent about what they're doing behind the scenes, which I applaud. So this is the Healing Hands Foundation. I want to touch upon this a little bit. This is their charitable organization. Every penny that they get for the Healing Hands, which you can do a couple of different ways. You can donate directly, you can buy certain products where 100% goes right to their foundation. And I just love that it's 100% they're using for helping, uplifting, empowering communities, people, farmers, projects, every place they put their money, it's 100%. It's not 75%, and some of it goes to marketing. Nothing goes to marketing. It all goes to those who need it on the ground. And they teach people how to fish. They don't give them fish. They teach them how to fish so that they are self-reliant and can do things for themselves in these communities, which again is so admirable in my opinion. This is just an example of something that they have funded. This is a Kenya project. You can see a little bit about what they did with the money there. They constructed classrooms and restrooms and a library, and they always seem to be helping out with water in a lot of communities around the world. Water is a big project that they do a lot with. They help construct a bridge. So this is just some of the places, some of the ways the money was spent in Kenya. And there's tons more stories about what the Healing Hands money is being used for. Here's co-impact sourcing. Sometimes Healing Hands and co-impact sourcing kind of blend together, even in my own head. So they're very similar, but yet they're different. They're separate. Co-impact sourcing is all about partnering with people on the ground or people right there with working with the seeds, planting, nurturing, harvesting. That is all where the co-impact sourcing comes from. It's the people at the source, knowing those people, partnering with them, training them, making sure they have everything they need to get the job done and beyond. Their doTERRA and their co-impact partners are really focused on the land and taking care of it and making sure it's preserved for the future. So we're not depleting it just to satisfy our needs, but it's going to be something that's going to keep on giving clear into the future. Let's see. Fair and on-time payments. Before doTERRA came in and on the scene, a lot of these essential oil farmers were taken advantage of by middlemen who, of course, did not pay them what the value of the product, the plant material, and then would only maybe pay them in a lump sum, and then they wouldn't see them again till the next harvest time, or promise the payment and wouldn't follow through. You can get the picture. So doTERRA is very fair, make sure everything's paid on time. And from my understanding, they pace it out in a longer time frame so that these people on the ground have income coming on a regular basis. So love that. So they've created lots and lots of jobs. Here's a real quick example in Haiti. We have a really close connection in Haiti, and we have for a very long time. So I'm sure this has changed. This 11,000 jobs has probably been changed, or is probably upped quite a bit, impacting at least 40,000 lives. Again, that's probably a higher number now. When the earthquakes took place there, I think there's been at least 2 of them since I've been part of doTERRA. doTERRA went right in there and started helping as quickly as possible. And you can see the reference to fresh water wells again. So we don't buy up farms. We find where the plants grow the best for the purest end result, and we partner and convince them and help them see the value of working with doTERRA. Source to you, again, it's connected to co-impact sourcing, but it's kind of like its own thing. It's just a way for you to trace where your oil came from. It's like their way of being transparent with whatever, wherever things are coming from, and their co-impact process. So if you look on the bottom of a bottle, there is a number, I'm trying to find one with it, that you can scan. I'm trying to even look at it. I can't really see it. And look it up on Source to You, and it will kind of walk you through and give you information about that oil. So there's the website you can go explore. You can look at test results there as well. We're going to talk a little bit more about the testing. Why you should never buy oils from companies that you use oil brokers. So those are the middlemen that I said take advantage of the essential oil farmers. They're focused on making a buck, making as much money as possible, and not passing that amount, any amount, to those farmers, or probably in not the wealthiest of conditions. So they don't compensate them. They rarely test the quality. And then to make those oils go farther and make more money, they adulterate them, add synthetics, maybe mix in some other oils that are not what you think they are. And that's how they dilute those beautiful essential oils and stretch them so they can add to their pocket. doTERRA has almost 100% control of their sourcing locations. So that means nobody else works with those farmers. It's just the farmer and doTERRA. They have a working relationship. So there's no need for middlemen. And so there's never any fear of adulteration or doing something to taint those essential oils. doTERRA is more about making sure we're getting the purest, best, highest quality, not worried about the bottom dollar, how much money they can make from these farmers. Again, speaks to the integrity of the company. There is like no regulation in the essential oil market. So there's all kinds of ways that people could say this is 100% frankincense when it's really not, because there is no regulation. So I wanted to make sure I put this up so you could see that. There could be a contamination in there from the adjacent field, from pesticides. So these other oils could be contaminated in some way. Here's an adulteration is what I was just talking about. So you never know if you're buying from a middleman, a broker, you don't know what's happened to that oil from that beginning point. I know I read years ago that a bottle of oil can be labeled as 100% frankincense. I'm sticking with that example, even though there was like a fraction of frankincense in there. And you can typically tell by the price. If you're getting a half a gallon of frankincense, I'm being very extreme here, a half a gallon of frankincense for $10, you can rest assured is not pure frankincense, because I know the labor intensity of sourcing and getting that essential oil, and it takes a lot of time and effort, and doTERRA charges accordingly to the intensity. So that's why some of the prices are a lot higher on some oils than others. It all depends on how much effort it is and how much plant material it takes to put into and distill down those essential oils. So you can kind of tell by price, but if you're going to buy from another company, you're going to want to check their testing practices and how they test. I threw this up there. It's a little bit hard to read, but this is ARPC. This is the Aromatic Plant Research Center. This is a third-party company that doTERRA works with, where they test the oils and to see if they're adulterated in any way. And so they are part of the partnership that tests our oils as well. They make sure that everything's in the right ratios, all the constituents in there. So they know if anything's been tampered with within that essential oil bottle. And it's cool that we're using an outside party to help with that. doTERRA, of course, does their own testing. I think it's up to 50 some tests, or at 50 some times that they test these oils along the route. And just quickly, adulteration can be simple as adding castor oil to extend frankincense, to stay with that example. And this, what is it, ARCP, whatever. This third party says that in their experience, 80% of all essential oils on the market have been adulterated in some fashion. So that's a little bit scary. So something you think you're taking to help your health could really be detracting from it because of that adulteration that you don't know about. So sometimes if you're having a reaction to an oil, it could be whatever's been placed in that oil outside of the essential oil. Just something to think about. So here's a little bit more about the testing. I already talked about that third party. So every time you're buying doTERRA, you know they're pure. I'm so confident in that. That's why I use their oils. I'm 100% confident in the purity of their oils. And if you're not 100% confident in the purity of the oils you're using from somewhere else, then, I'm going to invite you to rethink that and do some research. I'm just kind of really emphasizing this, why you should not purchase from a third-party site such as Amazon or someplace like that. And I have another slide that talks to that. You're going to want to make sure it's coming straight from doTERRA, because if they're coming from a third-party retail place, they could be adulterated. It's not that hard to adulterate them and open up the bottle and do something, add something different. doTERRA oils are internal. You can use them internally. And if you're getting it from another outside source, that might not be the case. So we have many, myself as a doTERRA wellness advocate that can help you get doTERRA pure essential oils with a free account and support you with some education. I really like this slide. I was glad that I found this. Amazon is a thing. doTERRA is always trying to figure out how to stop those people on Amazon from selling oils because they look like they're okay. But do you see what they do here? They can remove the cap, do whatever they want to the oil to tamper with it, and then just purchase another lid that has a seal on it and put it on. This is news to me. I did not know you could do this. So this is really interesting. So go straight to the source to get your oils straight from doTERRA. And they now have new caps, a new design in their caps, probably to help with this problem right here. I'm sure that's one of the reasons we now have new caps. Here's Dr. O. He is our, correct me if I'm wrong, Norlie, he is now the Chief Medical Officer, correct?
Correct.
We refer to him as Dr. O because his last name is kind of long. So people are now using doTERRA as the gold standard for purity, especially lavender, because it has now been documented, researched. We have really good backup documentation that doTERRA's lavender is pure, and everybody else can compare theirs to doTERRA. So doTERRA has figured out how to create that consistency within the oils, and it's been proven with lavender. And I'm gonna guess, but I'm gonna say I know it, that they're on track to do that with many of their other oils. Make sure they're all researched and documented. That's one of their goals. They're really doing a lot of research in the last handful of years. Some myths about doTERRA that you might have heard or you might have thought yourself. Well, if I sign up, I have to sell the product. No. I know there's some direct marketing companies that are like that. If you buy into the company, you're expected to sell. That is not the case with doTERRA. You do get 25% off retail. You get a lot of other perks, but you don't have to sell unless you want to, or share. Not necessarily sell, but share the good things that are working for you. And when something works for you, you want to tell everybody else. I must buy something every month. Not true. You're going to want to after you really get into it and learn about their products and learn to love their products and switch things out. I know I've switched out a lot of personal care products for doTERRA oil infused products. So I've done a lot of switching out. And so I do order every month, but no, you don't have to. You can order just randomly if you so choose. And then myth number 3, becoming a member is expensive. No, it's not. It's only $35 and now it's free. It used to be $35. So this is incorrect. It is now free when you make a purchase for the first year. And then after that, it's only $25, which is so minuscule. If you get a Sam's Club account or a Costco account or some other type of subscription account, membership account, you're going to be paying way more than $25.
And on top of that, you get a free oil when you renew your membership. So
Yep, yep. So you say you get a 10, 15, $20 oil, that drops it down to just, 5 or 10 bucks that you're paying a year to save 25%. And you can earn back up to 30%. So if you do order monthly, which again, I think I have a slide about that. If you do order monthly at a certain level, you're going to create points back up to a maximum of 30% back that in points that you can use towards free products. So every month, if I spend $100, I get $30 back in points. So I get 30 points back that I can use to purchase for free an oil or a product that's under $30, 30 PV, but we're not going to go into that. And I love that. I get free stuff every single month. That's why I love giving doTERRA my money, because they reward me for being a loyal customer. If I walk into my local Walmart, they don't reward me for anything. They just take my money and say thank you very much, if they even do that. But with doTERRA, I'm saving 25% with every purchase and getting points rebated back to me, which is basically worth money. So this is talking a little bit about the monthly rewards program that I'm part of. And it's the smartest way to really maximize the doTERRA ordering process, I guess I could call it. There's monthly promotions. You can, make DIY recipes. You learn a lot because there's all kinds of trainings going on. I get my shipping reimbursed. So I basically am not paying for shipping. Here's where the points that I talked about. I'm earning points that I can use every month. And as Norlie mentioned, I get free oil every month, depending on when I purchase and how much I purchase. So that's definitely something we can share about with you when you're ready to learn more about it. Now, some people do decide they're going to, they love the products, they love what they're doing, they want to share it with their mom, their sisters, their neighbor. You sometimes you just start to think about all these people in your head that can benefit from some oils that you're learning about, or some supplements that you've learned about, or that have worked for you. So some people do decide to earn income with doTERRA. So doTERRA is a really nice side hustle you can do in your own time. So these are some of the reasons people might decide to partner with doTERRA and create a business. And when it says to be part of a team, that they're not lying, man. I have met so many awesome, delightful people in the course of my journey with doTERRA. It's unbelievable. Norlie is one of them here. I would never have met her if it wasn't for doTERRA. So lots and lots of friends through my doTERRA journey. Another really nice quote, the journey is much larger than us. Our business only allows us to help more people. So if you decide to partner with doTERRA and create some income, create a little side hustle, you're helping people. You're helping them get healthier. You're helping them be happier. You're helping people at the front end of the bottle in Haiti or Kenya or over 40 other countries to uplift that community, give those people an income, help their families create enough wealth to send their kids to school, because they have to pay for their education in other countries. I know we don't here, at least our beginning education, but in other countries, from my understanding, they do have to pay. And so we're helping people all along that process, the beginning point of the oils, all the way up to when we're using them for ourselves and sharing their benefits with other people. So if you decide to join, join my team or Nora Lee's team or some other person's doTERRA team, these are some things to know. There's no minimums. You don't have to keep an inventory. You'll be trained and coached by awesome people. And again, as I mentioned, you're going to really connect and meet and be in community with lots of other like minded, delightful people. And this is how you could get started if you decide to create a side hustle with purpose. I love that phrase, a side hustle with purpose, a bigger purpose than just bringing in some extra money. You actually would be helping a lot of people. So you would start with a bundle, a kit, as we call them. Start using those products, seeing the effects of them, the benefits of them in your own life, and then sharing your experiences with other people. Everything can be done online now. doTERRA takes care of everything. They ship them. They said we can get training from doTERRA. So all you're doing is like you're the connector between the people you're sharing with and doTERRA, connecting them with doTERRA. And then in that process, you're earning weekly and monthly paychecks. And that's something you can certainly ask me about or ask Norley about when you want to learn more. One thing I wanted to talk about quickly is if you didn't want to jump in 100% and share the doTERRA way of life with other people, I like to teach classes such as I'm doing now. If you didn't want to do that fully, you could use the Refer a Friend program where you just share a link with somebody and they use your link to get their own doTERRA account, and you both benefit from that. You earn something called doTERRA dollars that you can use in your own orders. And you can see here you can earn 20% on their first purchase. So it's just like an easy way to tiptoe your way into that side hustle with a purpose. This is something that we're just starting. I just wanted to throw this in here just so you're aware of it. This is something that is happening every month, a 21-day challenge to help people create a new habit. Supposedly it takes 21 days to create a new habit, and we're trying to help people create a new healthy habit with our supplements. So this is just something that I'm actually starting it myself as of tomorrow. And you get points for every action you take. Taking these supplements, these products every single day, doing a movement every day, doing some personal development in the course of a day, watching an educational video. That's it. And you keep track of that on your own. At the end of the 21 days, there's going to be some team prizes, which include a pot of money that everybody is contributing to. So that's something you're interested. You can take a picture or take that, get that QR code. You can also connect with me or Norley, and we can give you more information on that. So there is an investment, a commitment, so that you're going to hold yourself accountable to participate. When you put money into something, it makes you a little bit more eager and willing to actually show up. Another quote from Emily Wright, our one and only female founder. doTERRA is more than just an essential oil company. We're about blessing lives, and we do that one person at a time. One drop at a time, one person at a time, one community at a time. And these are many, many reasons I like to give my money to doTERRA. I feel like I'm voting with my dollars. my money is going to a company that I know is distributing my money in a really positive, impactful way. And I'm just one small piece of it, but I'm freely giving them my money so they can impact the world globally as a company, which they can do a little bit in a bigger way than I can. So these are some of the reasons. This is probably not all of them, but many of the reasons I like to be partnered with doTERRA. And like I said, I'm okay giving them my money. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Norley, you have anything you want to add that I may have left out?
Not that I can think of right offhand. I did hear a statistic today that 84% of the people would enjoy a side hustle if they could make at least $500. So get into
Which
doTERRA and you can easily
you can
get
certainly do
started
that.
and do
Yes.
that.
Yes, for sure. So that's all I got for you. I love them. That's why I've been with them so long. I want you to love them. If you have any questions, you want to get connected with doTERRA, I certainly would love for you to reach out to me and we'll make it happen. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. See you the next time. Bye-bye.